Hi everybody, this is episode 34 in our mad dash to try and actually start recording again. So we are pushing through various people's illnesses and we are getting into this again. I mean, brief discussions off air and having a bit of a chat with one another. We've been talking about things like various books that we're reading, various sort of bits of fantasy and fiction. And I brought up in the end of the last episode the visualization, this image of the Ghostbusters movie. I'd imagine Becky's not old enough to have seen the original youngster that they are. But I'd imagine probably most of us have seen that sort of film before and have seen that thing and that sort of various different bits of classical old cult media. I'm going to ask a question for people. I'm actually going to do that again. If you think back to when you were younger, or the sort of cult classic films of the time, what were the films that kind of really resonated with you? What are the films that you remember as a kid that really resonated with you? And I'll start this one off because the reason why I bring this up and the thought of it, even though as a kid, and I'll point this out, even though as a kid, this film scared the living hell out of me. I was actually terrified. I had nightmares after watching this film when I was a little kid. But that was Labyrinth. And yes, oddly enough, I had nightmares because of Labyrinth. I'd imagine some people can probably work out which creatures specifically made me have nightmares as I was a little kid. What was that?
Mentioning Jenny John Jules.
So the fire dancers that could remove their heads and throw them around really, really creeped me out as a kid. Apparently, I had real problems with that, but actually, as a film, it's now one of my core cult classic films. That and Dark Crystal, which I adore. Dark Crystal as a film, even though it is inherently flawed. I mean, if you've ever seen crabs running around with their legs dangling about and two human feet running underneath, you'll know what I'm talking about. But still, Dave, film, a real proper classic film that really resonated with you when you were younger.
Oh, that is resonated is an interesting
That's
one.
that's the specific why I went out with that one. Resonated, something that really stuck with you.
I mean, I was grabbed by Star Wars at an early age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's something that stuck with me for a very long time. I mean, things like Labyrinth, I think I've watched Labyrinth in the cinema when it first dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But that's taken time to percolate back to a full appreciation.
Yeah. Star Wars. Star Wars was. I was too young to see it in cinemas when it came out, but
Yeah, I think I was watching it in the cinemas round about when Return of the Jedi dropped. Because I remember going to a triple bill at a very early age.
Kess, I know you're not a big movie watcher, and I know that therefore this is an awkward question for you, but do you remember any real major things that kind of you even now you would consider watching again because of the nostalgia of it?
You've seen me try to watch a film.
I have.
Oh my goodness. I genuinely don't. Well, no, I know the first time I went to the cinema because it was The Little Mermaid. I know that I watched at least the first two Star Wars re-released. Sorry, Dave, with my dad in my early teens, because I am the same age as Return of the Jedi. Um, And I genuinely couldn't tell you what happened in the 6 or so years in between. There are flashes of films, there are contextual. I remember this was on because there was some other significant event, but actual visual media? No,
No,
because I
not.
couldn't sit still and concentrate.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Sorry.
Going round in, I believe this is going round in age order. I'm going to go to JJ now.
I ended up watching a lot of cult classics from like the previous generations. So one of the things, and I grew up with certain stereotypes in my life as well. So I think it's Logan's Run because you're dead at 30.
Yeah, about that.
So I ended up watching that kind of era and that kind of grade of sci-fi as a cult movie. But that kind of then segued me into things about Soylent Green and all the rest of it. And that kind of I want to say era, not era. Definitely an era of sci-fi and a definite feel.
Are you more into your
That's why I
sci-fi
love
than
my
your
throwback
fantasy?
Hmm?
Is it more sci-fi for you than fantasy?
Yes, but only because also you got things like Moonbase Alpha, that are also in the fiction rather than fantasy, because they kind of blend into that same kind of area.
Yeah.
I'd definitely cast, like say, Star Wars as science fantasy rather than fiction.
I'm picking on you here a little bit here more on this one, JJ, because you also are a little bit more into the cosplay than I think a lot of us are, and you have certain cosplay costumes, which some people might have recognised from the back of behind you in the past. But you're a big Dread fan. Is that
I
more
am.
comics, or is that from the comics or from the movies?
So the helmet and the costume I've got is the 2012 release movie. And I very much stand by the 2012 versus the 95 Stallone. I kind of blame Stallone for the 95 flop or for the dislike, but also I get why he did it, because it's all about ego. I actually came to comics late. I had a little bit of interest when I was in high school, but I became more of a comic book reader when I hit sixth form college. And I kind of went backwards. I picked up a couple of the graphic novels, like the bumper set kind of thing, and then I went back into the comics. So for 2000 AD, absolutely, I love it. Hence why I've got the full cosplay for the 2012 style Brit Judge. But I came by that less in my formative years, as it were, more once formed and starting to get an opinion on things.
And now all the way round to the youngest of our group, Becky. I'm not sure what films would have been out in your formative years, if I'm honest, because
Because you're old. Yeah, I'm going to be like that.
Oh, all right, smart ass. Come on then.
Was it about episode 30 something where people start dying again?
Something like that, yeah.
So for me, I'd say Labyrinth is probably really high up in my memories because I used to watch that a lot, and then I got it on DVD. Well, I think we had it on VHS. I think we had a recording of it at one point, and I just used to watch it quite a lot with my mum. But then the other thing was The Lord of the Rings, because that came out when I was 10, I think, the first one. Yeah. And I went to see all of them at the cinema, and I have lots of memories of that and the fantasy of it. And I'd already read the books before the first one came out, or I was reading the first book, I think, when the first film came out. So that's quite formative. And of course, my generation, it was the series that shall never be named because of the Great Turf. So I have to kind of write that off from my life in a way. But yeah, so for me, it's Labyrinth and Lord of the Rings, so very fantasy based kind of feel.
Yeah.
Swinging back to the fantasy thing, certainly in my youth, it was getting from the video library things like Krull and Hawk the Slayer, and utter 80s cheese.
Yes.
We
Fantasy
mentioned
was a bit
Spaceballs.
weird. Spaceballs.
Never-ending story.
Nothing wrong
See,
with
that's
that.
one of my
Too soon with
contextual
our
ones.
facts.
I have memories of around that, but not the plot.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing I have ever seen, I'm sure some people have seen this before, is the cosplay of Atreya, is it? And the horse, Atreya and the horse.
Yeah.
Somebody's literally got a horse's head mannequin that they have put on the floor with a tray of looks like quicksand, and he walks around doing the dragging pose to do that whole
Watching people burst into tears everywhere.
Yes, bless cosplay. I mean, bring it up ever so slightly because of the fact that we've been watching, quite a few of us have been watching through Sandman recently, and Sandman is very much a part of my, not childhood, but I got into that very much before university and love every second of the TV show and really hoping that it does go on to get more. But just that sort of these images that come into your head when you're playing games. And we've got one here because we've got the ghost in the library, effectively. Currently looking at Neffy as Neffy has opened up the door and saying, "Come on now, it's time to get to work," and staring at the group.
Listen,
so
you smell something.
We'll just put on a little bit of music. And then, this ghost kind of looks up from her book, looking over the shoulder, well, what would be the shoulder of somebody working at one of these desks. Looks up at you and goes, "Come on now, tardiness is not a good trait. Come on, we need you to get to work."
Neffy goes and sits down at one of the tables.
Okay, move your token by all means.
I would, but it's currently having issues.
Oh dear. Certainly
Sorry, I'm
looks at
reading
the rest
the
of you
warning
as well.
on it.
Oh,
It
well,
just says, your browser does not currently support WebGL.
You might want to close down your entire browser and reopen it because it sounds like something's crashed on your on your thing. So as for everybody else,
I've gone and sat down.
Neffy goes and sits down, and I'll very quickly move Neffy just to sort of get them onto the right sort of spot there. What does everybody else do?
Invar will watch where Neffy's going. What work do you mean?
Come on now, you are my scribes. Come on, get down. We need you to illuminate these tomes. I have a pile of books here that need copying. Come on, this is look. I am not paid by the mistress by every letter written, I will admit, but every book completed. So come on, get in here, get yourself sat down.
I'm just going to walk slowly and keep talking. I think you might have mistaken us.
I have not mistaken
else.
you. Sit down and get on with the work, please.
Well,
and you can see that
then.
the form is starting to look more terrifying. The face is starting to scrunch and teeth are starting to appear in a slightly inhuman looking face.
So tell me who I am.
You are one of my scribes. I do not need to know your name.
Can I do haunt law?
You can,
or
yes.
undead, if more appropriate, but I will take either.
I'm looking in the background. Definitely want to do an undead.
Okay, both of you are doing undead. It doesn't appear to be a haunt. You are pretty certain this is some sort of bound ghost. There is a reasonable chance that it has no idea that time has passed, because not all ghosts do. So it may think it is still waiting for unnamed servants to come along and do a job for her. And in fact, now that you think about it, some of the actions that she took or was taking when you opened the door, which was to almost look like she was looking over somebody's shoulders and writing notes, means that she might actually think there are people there doing the job, and you guys have just showed up late. There is a pile of books just inside the entranceway. And she's kind of pointing at the books and saying, come on. Get on with it. These need doing.
How many scribes do you currently have in this room?
There are 4. You are the remaining 4 to take up the other seats.
I can only see one, which is my friend. I'm not
Then
sure
you're
which
blind. And I'm not entirely certain that's a good thing for a scribe. You are starting to rattle my patience.
Oz
Sit
is
yourself
going to-
down, or I'll find a way of ejecting you.
I'm going to intimidate and glare at her. Because who can play that fucking game?
Okay,
How high are the divides between desks?
before you do any of that, that is going to push you into initiative order.
All I'm doing is staring.
You're trying to intimidate her.
Threateningly.
I mean, yes.
So, yeah, we shall just
Tried not
chuck
to
that.
murder her. We tried to be nice.
I
Morally
would
writing.
please. Actually, Orin shouldn't be in here. We'll remove that participant. I would like you all, please. I'm going to work on the principle that Moz was probably still scouting, so I will allow for the +1 for that. However, Neffy, Invert, you do not get to use your stealth for this. You were not in a position where you were sneaking. You will need to use your perception. So.
5 and 3
Okay.
and 1. I'm fucked.
Neffy.
At 21.
Moz. So, hang on. In total, how much?
I rolled a 1. I have an incredible initiative of +2.
Yeah, but don't you? Surely you've got your perception as well. Yes, +9 for your perception.
Oh, okay. In that case, then 1 + 9 for 10 for 12.
12. Okay. Inva.
That's better.
3 + 5 + 1 for 9.
Oh, you're doing really well here, guys. Phelan.
Oh my god.
18.
18. Okay.
I'm walking through
Consistent.
and putting my hands through all the empty spaces
Well,
to prove the guys weren't there.
let's yeah, this is not your best moment. So I'll go down
He's
to
undead, delusional, and angry. Cool.
and more importantly than that for you, realistically, also quicker than everybody. You've gained the ire of this creature quite considerably. So I think we might have to just assume that this lady's going to go first. Her face drops into a shrieking face, proper elongated, ghostly face. And as the first action, she screeches out loud in this despairing cry. I need everybody to make will saving throws, please, if you are within 30 foot. Phelan, you are not within 30 foot, I don't believe, and therefore you are okay. But everyone else needs to make a will saving throw, please.
Do we get a hero point back?
You do have your hero points back, yes. So if you've used one in the last session, you do have one. Neffy.
21.
21. Inva.
17.
17. Moz.
10 + 7 for 17.
All 3 of you are affected by this screaming cry. You are all slowed 1 and overcome with a deep, burning sadness at your missed opportunities.
Not any kind of mental damage, is it?
No, there's no damage to it. You are just slowed. Now, what that will mean is you have only 2 actions on your next turn. For all of you that failed. then as a final action, what's she gonna do? She's just gonna move up towards Inver. That is their go done. Oh, not next round. Don't want to do that. It is. Oh, actually, yep. It is Neffy's turn.
Is it possible to do essentially a recall knowledge to see what I know about fighting ghosts?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much always okay to do that. So, yep, I want to do that. So, yeah, it's a recall knowledge on this one is going to be occultism or religion. Which is your better? What's your best bonus?
Occultism.
Okay, and what bonus is that?
+8.
+8. Okay. So the thing about ghosts is, generally speaking, they are pretty much resistant to almost every sort of spell. Magic very rarely affects them. And I mean, you can see that this is a ghost. It's definitely a ghost, but there's so many different varieties of ghost. It could be anything really. So yeah, you're kind of yeah, they're pretty resistant to magic, but hitting them is easy. You hit them however you want.
Okay.
I mean, they just missed. The weapons kind of just go straight in.
So I'm trying now to decide whether I want to try and stab her, or whether I want to carry on with what Nephew was doing, which was essentially playing along.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got one action.
Yeah, she's just gonna carry on playing along. So
Okay.
she's now writing on some parchment, but she's not actually scribing anything. She's basically doing a Bart Simpson of I must not, and then steal things from Inver or
Okay.
whatever.
So that ends your turn. Your slow condition goes. It's only for one turn, but you are not immune to the ability, so they can keep doing it to you. Phelan, it is your turn.
There's not an awful lot I can do unless we are actually going loud on this thing. Are we going loud on this thing?
He's just shrieked at us.
Okay. We'll go loud on this thing. And we'll see how now she's come closer. How she likes some of that. We'll throw the horns and chuck an electric arc at her.
Okie dokie. So that is a reflex saving throw, I believe.
Yep.
So I'm going to get a 35 on that. I believe that is a critical success, and therefore she will not take any damage at all.
Okay. So I'll sit down and shut up. I will in fact use my action just to wander back a bit and behind that bookcase.
Oh, brilliant! Okay,
Possibly contemplate getting a book out and reading it.
Okie dokie. Moz, it is your turn.
Okay, normally we can't walk through enemies. Yeah.
Normally.
Can we literally? Could I move through Invar's space and quite literally clothesline, just straight up, just no harm, no foul, walk through her space? My intent is to use my full movement action to put my hands through the table spaces, through the desk spaces, and through her as I quite literally bodily walk 20 foot forward.
You absolutely can do that. There is nothing that would stop you. Well, that's not entirely true. So technically you're not allowed to walk through creatures. You'd have to do something like a tumble through or something similar. There is, however, space that you could fundamentally bypass her and get to the other side. I am going to allow that.
I would like to flavour effectively. I'll move to 20, so 5, 10, 15,
Yeah.
20, and action flavour. Quite literally just walking through.
Yeah, and it feels horrendous. As you pass through, it feels
Yep,
immediately cold and chilly. There's no damage from it, but that was not pleasant.
Yep. I'm making the social point and trying to disarm the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I will turn and take and just lean on the halberd with a look and go, I don't think you're where you think you are anymore.
Trying to give the ghost an existential crisis.
She turns round. You can see that horrendous, despairing face. And under her breath, she hisses, "What are you talking about?"
I just walked through you and every single scribe that isn't in existence here. You're dead. A very long time ago. And the lady ain't gonna pay you.
Right. The instant you say you are dead, the face almost goes hollow. You can see skull and the rest of it. And all semblance of this being a woman goes. This is now a vengeful ghost right in front of your face. The last vestiges that she was holding on to, that she was alive, drop immediately, and all you can see is malice and hatred in front of you.
Yeah, I'll kill that. Half a chance, whilst there's still some semblance there, like with the ghoul elsewhere, whilst there's still some semblance of a chance, give him it.
Mm-hmm. So you have actions left.
Okay, if you're going to give me it, I will attempt to stab it in the face. I was taking the conversation as action, but I'll take a slap.
Nope, I allow for flexible roleplay moments in combat.
12 and 12 for 24 flanking Invar.
24 is a hit.
This is not a Ghost Blast weapon, because that's a funky thing, and we haven't done anything about that. So it's a 7 and 4 for 11 slashing.
Some of it goes through, but as you connect with your weapon, you are immediately aware that it is not hurting this creature anywhere near as much as it should do. So 11 you did, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That. I mean, some of it wisps off. Little tiny bits of it wisp away. Okay. You've got one more action left.
Movement and thing, and I was slowed.
Oh, you were slowed. Of course you were, yes. Yeah, absolutely you were. Inver, it is your turn.
The ghost. With my background, I will... Okay, so I'm debating between two different things to do, right? One of them effectively gives a penalty to everything strength-based.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing as a ghost, that's not terribly relevant. Most of the damage she does won't be strength-based because incorporeal.
Yeah. Strength is not a massive part of this creature. I will give you the basic knowledge of the fact that almost all undead spiritual creatures have negative strength in some way, but they still do a big old whack of damage.
So in that case, I will not use the Reaper's Lantern spell, which creates enfeebled and does strength-based penalty, but use Sepulchral Mask. So that's my Bloodline spell, which also means I get a bonus to damage from however many levels of spell it is. So, as part of the Sorcerer's Lycopomp bloodline, I manifest a supernatural funerary mask, granting me a +1 status bonus to will saving throws against emotion effects. Its somber countenance forces your foes to confront their regrets and sins. Each enemy in the 5-foot emanation area when I cast the spell, or it starts its turn there, takes 1d4 mental damage. 1d4 mental damage and must attempt to will save.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. And then because it's a bloodline spell, I can choose between 2 effects. One is a bonus to fortitude saves, and one is just extra damage. And I'm going to take the extra damage, thanks.
Okie dokie. So, the first thing is a will save.
Yep.
That will save is going to be a 25.
So that passes, which means she takes half damage.
Okay.
And half of 2 is 1.
And none of that seems to affect her.
Okay. I get to maintain it lasts a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see what happens next round, because that's 2 action casts, so that's me done.
Okay. It is her turn. So she whips around to Inva and attempts to claw you with this hand. It now looks like a barbed, long clawed hand. Only a 3 on the dice, but that's a 19 in total.
That'll hit.
Okay. Find all the dice in the world, because this is gonna hurt. La, 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 la.
You want to hear your DM say.
Things you do not want to hear your DM say.
12, 16 points of damage.
Oh!
She's then going to try and hit you again. You still are stood up. 13 on the dice with a +12 on this one. I think that's going to hit you. Yeah. Okay.
13 plus 12, 25. Not quite a crit.
Okay. Well, that's at least something for you, I guess.
I don't think it's going to make any difference.
Not so great on the dice. Only 5 on the dice, but with a +4, that's 9 points damage.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going down regardless.
Oh God.
Okay, so Inver is on dying 1, and then she's gonna hit Neffy.
Job.
With a 13 on the dice. Hang on a minute.
No, I have a feat for this, because Duskwalker. Right.
Uh-huh.
You are about to go in the dying condition. Hallelujah. As a result of another creature's attack or ability, and that is within your melee reach. Unusually, yes. Just before losing consciousness, I make a melee strike against the triggering creature. That is going to do no fucking good, but you know what? We'll give it a go.
All right.
Once upon a time, somebody killed me deliberately, and I am scarred by that.
Go on, make your attack roll.
At +4, my god. 13 on the dice and 4 gives me 17 plus.
And even with flanking, I'm
reach.
afraid that's not going to hit.
Fine.
And Neffy, you're going to be also hit with a 21.
Yeah.
So, no, that's a D10. You don't want me rolling D10s for damage.
Thank you.
Especially seeing
if
as
there's a choice.
Especially seeing as it's already 3d8 worth of damage. +4. So we've got an 8, 12, 18, 22 points of damage.
I'm just still up.
That's thankfully her last action. And it is now Neffy's turn.
Okay. I don't have any potions. Okay. I'm gonna Oh, jeez. Is that another desk on the other side?
It is, yeah.
Okay, can I tumble through her so that I'm on the other side to get her flat-footed?
You can, yes.
Because that would get her flat-footed, and then
It would.
You sound
So
like you're
you
questioning
can
my
make
thoughts
no.
then.
By all means, make yourself a acrobatics check, please.
22.
As you attempt to tumble through, you feel horrendous trying to pass through her space and second guess yourself. You do not succeed.
Yeah, that's fair. I assume I move though. So
No, you literally hold back on the space. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's fine then. Then okay, I'll just try and stab her, I guess.
Okay, make an attack check.
I really hope that Phelan comes and helps.
Maybe at the end of the chapter.
Recovering the corpse later. Yeah.
19,
Book it.
26.
To hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits. D6.
4 points of damage.
You feel absolutely no impact at all as your dagger, as your rapier hits. It's like there's nothing there.
I've got absolutely nothing that I can do.
None of us do. We're not tooled for ghost.
Oh, way.
There are specific anti-ghost weapons. We don't have them.
We don't have them. I mean, my weapon was magic. I don't know if that helps.
No.
No, just clarifying. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She's gonna react.
There is no reaction.
Whew! Right, so what was that? So I can get to there. Okay, that's me.
Okay. Phelan.
Dog ear page. Closed book. I look over the shelf. Gesture vaguely. Do 2 action heal on Invar. Level 2.
Yeah.
For a pitiful amount of damage, pitiful amount of healing, which is only 21.
21. I mean, it's not a small amount. So you're not dying anymore. You gain the wounded one condition. You are, however, still prone because you've obviously fallen down.
And I'm on 21 hit points. I don't
you
count
are
the
on
negatives I took.
correct. Pathfinder Second Edition, you do not go into negative numbers, so you're just going to get your 21 back. You do have one more action, Phelan. Whether or not you want to do anything with it, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to tell the ghost that she should eat some pies because she's looking a bit insubstantial.
Yeah, okay.
His response.
Yeah.
Neffy starts pulling pie out of her bag.
Moz, it is your turn.
I would like to book it.
You are on the wrong side of this for the way things have gone.
That's 5. That's 10. 15.
Well, that's 20 technically. That's 20 because the second diagonal is always double. So 20 when you're standing on Inver. Right, then again, second movement, 5.
15. 20. I'm clearing this corner. I'm out of here.
You're out of here. You've got one more action.
2 actions.
No, because you slowed ended at the end of your last turn. The slow went away.
Oh, okay.
Only lasts 1 round.
Yeah, I got bugger all. I can't really prep the action, which is close the door. That would be my held action would be to close the door, but I can't do it because I've not got to. So I'm good.
Okay. Inva. On the floor.
To stand up.
Want to stand up?
Run the fuck away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You just
keep running.
You just peg it out the room. Okay.
Hopefully, Moz can shut the door.
Well, Moz, I will say you can shut the door, but as you do, you see the ghost coming up to the door.
I'm still gonna close the door.
Yep. You close the door.
And the ghost comes through the door.
No, nothing happens. Turn the music down back to something a little calmer.
Like neck a potion.
You got a potion?
It seems like you have lots of time to do whatever you want.
Yeah, please make me feel better.
Actually, that's true. You're actually now in a worse state than me. I am fed up of coming close to death.
You know, I know we've had a comfortable lie down, but at the moment, I don't think we've got much on the healing front. And failing, as much as you're an awesome individual, we don't want to like completely drain you of any kind of magic. Is it a good idea for us to leave for a little bit? Because we are definitely not geared for whatever is in that particular door.
I have absolutely no objection with us getting outie or slipping into something a bit more comfortable like Starbug.
Yeah.
Right. Assuming the Pilous Wonder is not going to come charging through that wall, shall I see what I can do for Neffy? Or should we put a bit more distance?
I'm going to use a bit of any kind of climbing gear otherwise I've got and just like kind of wedge the door closed.
Yeah,
Sure she can just go through the door.
There's bits of wood and various other bits and pieces. To be fair, Neffy, you've got no idea what ghosts can do. Because your knowledge, as far as you were concerned, you should have been able to stab that thing to death. But it didn't seem to work. Yeah, your camera was having a problem there, wasn't it?
I thought just JJ was doing spells with some suggestions.
Yeah. Big spells with the camera.
Okay. So we'll do a little bit of healing up of people. I'm going to actually pause the recording. We can do this off the camera.
A random aside before recording starts.
Okay, everyone, we are back. We've done a little bit of healing up of people. If you're watching the video, you'll be able to see that Neffy and Inva are not quite as badly injured as they were after that previous little tussle. We're back in the library room, the large library. I'm going to leave it to you guys, really, because at this point, it's kind of up to you.
Was that plan to leave the double doors until later, because that's where the real problem would be? What do you think?
No, I never said that would be the real problem. I just said I don't fancy facing the problem it's probably hiding. And who exactly decided to piss off the schoolmistress?
You're the one who told us she was dead.
Yeah, you were the one causing sass in the first place.
Didn't fancy copying letters for some undead bint who didn't realise that she was centuries out of date.
At which point Neffy hands over what she had been writing to him. I will not steal from the group loot.
Oh. Is it in a language we can read? Is there anything useful in what Neffy has copied?
That's a good point. Can you speak Infernal?
Realistically, well, there's that. Realistically, if you were trying to copy any of the books, you manage maybe 2 or 3 words at most before Invar pissed this creature off enough. No, there's nothing really to be gained at all from that. What you do remember is the name of the book that you picked up, and it was a book called What the Worm Knows.
That was something to do. Where's my? I don't know where the notebook is.
That was
I wrote
in
it
in the lab. That was in the
in
lab.
the lab,
Yeah.
It was one of
in the creepy ass lab.
It was one of the books
There
that
was 3 of them.
the guy the apprentice that used that area had wanted to get hold of at some point. The guy named
I know
Volk.
where it is.
That was it, Bulk, yeah.
We can tell him where it is.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so we've got the east door or the double doors to the north that we're picking between.
You've technically got the west door as well. It's just, you know you're going back on that one, and you know that there are things out there because you've seen them.
Yeah, but attempts to lure them into an ambush.
Feels like we're doing a lot of avoiding things at the moment.
Split the party and pencil them?
No!
I mean, Phelan, you're medically inclined. I mean, I'm sure these ghouls do something to people, and I did get a bit earlier. Is there any kind of negative effects to this?
Well, define negative.
Am I going to keel over and die in the next 24, 48 hours?
No.
Go to sleep and wake up a ghoul.
You're not going to keel over and die in the next 24 to 48 hours. Give it about a week.
Wait, what?
You know, I was going to be worried when you started saying specifics back. That's good to know. That's good to know. I think we might need to solve that as a thing in the next couple of days.
Look, I've got some excellent poultices that I can slap on that wound, and it'll be fine.
I mean, I'm fine. Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and generally expensive, but good to know. So, yeah, I mean, cool. Good to know. Good to know. Dead in a week.
No, seriously. When we go to bed down tonight, I'll boil up some herbs and give that a good clean out. More than I can just do in 10 minutes when we're sitting in library that the Republicans haven't gotten to yet.
Good point. Well presented. So long as it's not going to cause me any issues whilst we clear the rest of some of the small sprays, that's good to know. So who's opened the next door? I've opened a door. Nephew's opened a door.
Yeah.
I elected not to open a door. I guess it's Phelan's turn.
Maybe not old.
Right. Well, let's have a look at this door. Let's have a good listen first.
Okay, you head over to that door. You have a good old listen at that door. You cannot hear anything on the other side of the door, and having just a general once over, you also don't see a lock on this one. It's just a plain, simple door.
Is there anything spooky, spiritual, haunted crap anywhere that I can sense?
Well, there are a lot of crap things.
Specific
And I
places
sense
of-
magic.
So, there is no... let's see, 30 foot. No, you cannot sense any magic. No, you cannot sense anything spiritual within that range.
Okay.
Right. Give the door a
Okay.
good rattle.
You open up this to find a very, very short corridor that turns to the south almost immediately, 10 foot from the door.
Okay. No ghosts so far.
Thus meaning that Phelan has technically won this challenge. Because so far he is the only person to open a door without there being a fight on the other side. However, you do find that there are a set of stairs going down.
Okay. We've got stairs, and they go down.
Quite far down, or just like half a floor? Like,
Oh no,
how
these
far?
appear to go down. You can't
Oh,
see the
okay.
bottom of them sort of down.
Bugsy Malone stairs. Down, 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 and out.
Status quo stairs.
So I don't think we want to go down floor yet.
No.
It's
No,
definitely
there's-
not this floor.
There's plenty of stuff on this floor to give us a good kicking.
Mm.
Can we barricade the door from our side?
With
Yeah,
the
easily.
time.
Again, you've got all of these bits
Does it
and
have
pieces.
a bolt?
No, it doesn't have a bolt. But again, you've got broken bits of bookcase that the ghouls were trying to build, boxes that contain some books. You've got things that you can use to block the doorway. There's no problems with that.
I use some chalk and I draw a set of stairs essentially on the door so that it's a reminder to us that this is the stairs.
Can you draw a ghost on the library?
Yes, I draw a ghost and have like a speech bubble coming out of like, do your work or else.
It's very strange, but the ghost that Neffy draws looks like some sort of creature from an old 1980s video game.
What colour's the chalk? Is it Inky, Binky, Pinky, or Clyde?
Always Clyde.
Yeah, so you found a route down further in, but still, realistically, at this point, there is no real. I don't know how would you put it. There's no real route for you at this stage. Neffy and Inver have gone to the door. They have.
Listen
okay.
and sense.
No, Neffy went, Invar followed out of self-preservation.
In case he stole the door.
Kess, have a hero point for that
That's
one. Okay, so you head over to the door. The two of you that are there will get a bit of a listen. Okay, not really a lot that you can hear. It's a stone door, and it's very difficult to hear through stone doors.
Is there any funky, spirity, haunty stuff?
Or magical stuff.
So
this is our new system.
doing your various different senses that you have, these extra funky senses, you do not detect, either of you, anything magical or anything of that nature on the other side of this door. However, Neffy, interestingly enough, you spend a bit of time having a look at this door and checking it over, and you manage to piece something together. The shape on the door, this carved shape, I described it originally as a strange feminine shape rising from ghost-laced mists of a cemetery of emptied graves. And you're looking at this and you go, that's weird. I'm sure I know something about that. And you think about the various things that you've seen in this place, and you think back to that chapel that was upstairs, the one that really felt horrible and had that really creepy sensation in it, and ultimately you'd worked out that it was a temple to Nimbeloth, this outer god that is somehow connected to the undead. And you remember where you've seen this sort of image before. This is a depiction of the outer god Nimbeloth feeding on the spirits of those that would come to worship her. And you are dead certain that this is the doorway to some greater temple to the outer god Nimbeloth.
Does this feel like it's below that space? Or
it would be difficult to tell. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, this feels really
Wrong.
central and really wrong.
Yeah. So Neffy backs up from the door completely. She just doesn't want to be near it, and then obviously relays all of that to everyone, but she doesn't want to be near it.
So leave this one for later when we're tooled up for strange, undead, creepy, gribbly, ghosty, ghouly.
What I'm leaning towards. Or at least things that can cleanse, like, you know, if we're going in somewhere and it's like that chapel, we had to, what did we do? We destroyed some images or something, didn't we?
You turned over the actual shrine in the end. You just pulled it down.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so I have a feeling we're going to need to cleanse this area in a similar, if not more extreme way.
Moz, as you get near the door, you can hear something from the other side. It sounds like if it weren't that it sounded like one of the ghouls, you would think that it was also a feminine voice. So it's that sort of mix of feminine and undead, which is very difficult for a person like me to actually be able to repeat. But you can hear chanting coming from the other side of the door. In the stende camvana nimbaloth estamvandiacham.
I'm assuming it's not in any language I recognise, which would be Common, Dwarven, Goblin, or Orcish.
Nope.
Yep. I will wave Invar back, and I'm going to give the door space.
I couldn't hear that though, right?
You couldn't hear it.
Okay.
If Moz repeats it to you, you know it's in Necril.
Okay.
It's the language of the dead.
At the point he motions me back, like, what did you hear that? Or what did you get then?
It sounded a little bit like Umvar idila and
Nibble off.
Is that enough for me to recognise it as the language I know?
Moz will have been able to repeat it slightly better than that. And yes, you are aware that what it is a chant to Nimbleoff. It is literally a not a summoning, but almost like a service, a worship to, but spoken in the language of the dead.
So they are actively talking to Nimbleoth, who is a god known to eat its followers.
It's a outer god, so we're in the realms of Lovecraft here, which is actively known to have something to do with the dead and the undead.
I'm interested.
If it all goes Wahoonie shaped, which, we've got a great track record of it totally not going Wahoonie shaped, how do we get out of this one? Because those doors are a bit big to close quick.
The reason I'm here is to find out why I died and who killed me. Because it wasn't that bent in the scriptorium back there. That's only the latest in several times I've been there. One of them resulted in this.
Well, that's news. And going to be definitely something to have a conversation about.
I didn't get born with my shadow behaving like this.
Well, thought you might known someone called Pete and strange things happened, but okay.
Inver is visibly interested in trying to go because literally something with connection to the dead and how she ended up like this is her whole reason for still being around. But equally, it's a fucking terrible idea, and she is aware enough to know that.
You know what? We're definitely coming back. Have we got enough to kill off? Because, people are down here chanting and being strange. There's definitely going to be something that needs to not ever leave this space going on.
I mean,
have we got enough to solve that?
If it's more of the ghoul things, yes, I would argue we could handle that. But if it's something more, I don't know.
Do I know enough with religion to help out in terms of assessing what the cultists are likely to be like?
Not really, because the cultists themselves they're unique. You've never ever really met ghouls that are like this before. And you've met ghouls and stuff like that. You've dealt with ghouls before. Certainly you have memory of dealing with ghouls anyway. And you've met a number of ones in this place which are entirely normal, entirely what you'd expect. Perfectly standard representatives of what a ghoul is. These cultists, they're clever, they're smart, they're organised. They retain, by the looks of things, at least a portion of their memory from when they were alive, but also their intelligence from when they were alive, which is rare for ghouls. Ghouls tend to be ferocious, animalistic type creatures. To make matters worse, these ghouls also appear to be, these canker ghouls also appear to be able to organise normal ghouls and get them to do things. You know, they're not just a feral pack. These are controlled, maintained creatures doing what they're told to do by these canker cultists. If there is more than one of them in here, yeah, you might be able to handle them. You've handled 2 before, no problems. If they've got a bunch of other ghouls with them, probably easy enough. You've done that. You've dealt with 3 ghouls and a canker cultist in this room with no problems whatsoever. But there's always a chance that whatever's on the other side of that door, be it a canker cultist or not, and if this is a temple, like Nephi has said, there is potential that the high priest or priestess is in there. And if these normal canker cultists have retained an amount of their ability and their ability to cast spells, what might the high priestess be able to do, or the high priest be able to do? Are they something else? The problem with your knowledge is you've got no precedence to know what's on the other side of that door.
So we could do with maybe going back to town and getting rid of any bulk that we don't need. Maybe doing the book deal, but also potentially getting some potions as well.
Or some oils of make Moz hit ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
Oil of make it do the bad thing to somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oil of do the thing.
Maybe Rin will be able to give us some guidance on what might be the best thing to do.
Pick up possibly even a little bit of holy assistance on that one.
Oh, we can go to the temple that name has just escaped me. Lily's character.
Yes.
Anchor. That Anchor was based at.
Some conversations. Maybe get a little bit of oh, by the way, there's a temple downstairs that is all morbid and creepifying, and they're smart, and they may have plans. And didn't your cemetery get up and start walking around a few days ago?
Yeah.
Absolutely an option.
And we can also sleep in a normal bed.
I'm all for that and a good wash.
Yeah,
you have been down here a while, and
stuff.
Yes.
Good wash and a salt rub.
As the party, having only rested probably a few hours ago, decides that they're not in the best position to maybe carry on, we are going to stop it there, end this session, as they all chicken out and go back to somewhere where they can have a night's rest.
I have no issue with that.
Sounds like a plan.
Over her shoulder, though.
Yeah.
You can still see the internal fight of, but I learned something with, but I'd also just
Oh yeah, we're coming back and claiming this place.
It's okay, Neffy's doing the same thing about the room with the armor and really wants to know about that stuff.
So we're
just
gonna
Moz dragging us both out.
We're
so
gonna
Group Mom is wanting to go and investigate things, but also Group Kid is just
Not now. Not now. Right. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.